Entering the depths of the mountains, I suddenly found a lake. There was a small island on the lake. On the island, there was a slender crystal-clear plant, exuding a huge and pleasant smell. Where should it be? Xiao Yin and Yueru found that the number of people was getting smaller and smaller on the way to this mountain range. This fog is poisonous. Xiao Yin immediately understood why the number of people became less and less as he went deeper. It turned out to be the cause of the fog. No! Xiao Yin handed a medicinal pill to Yueru, and then the Emperor's soul power was fully deployed, and he carefully probed into the lake. Generally speaking, wherever there are wonders of heaven and earth, there will be guardians, so it is better to be careful in everything. Why didn't you find it? Xiao Yin couldn't help muttering to himself, and then he gave Yueru a few heavy instructions and went straight to the small island in the lake. His body burst into the clear lake like a fish. Xiao Yin glanced at the milky white flames outside his body and couldn't help swallowing a mouthful of saliva. Under the temperature, the surrounding lake water has been rolling like boiling water, and while the milky white blisters are constantly bubbling, wisps of dark purple liquid that is difficult to detect with the naked eye slowly emerge. But when these dark purple liquids are about to be when it came into contact with the milky white flame, it was frozen by Xiao Yi into extremely small ice strands, and then slowly fell into the bottom of the lake. Xiao Yan's scalp felt numb as he looked at the small purple ice strands that kept appearing all over his body. He didn't expect that this seemingly peaceful lake would secretly hide so much deadly venom. Hurry up! These venoms are extremely poisonous. Although the protection of a different fire can prevent them from entering the body, it is too much for my soul power. Just as Yueru was amazed, Xiao Yan's deep voice suddenly sounded in my heart. Huh? He nodded hurriedly, and then followed Xiao Yan's feet. His head floated to the surface, looked at the small island in the center of the lake, let out a sigh of relief, and then swept his arms rapidly, leaving a watermark on his body, gradually approaching the lake. Looking at the perfect figure in the water that was highlighted because the clothes were wet, Xiao Yin couldn't help swallowing because of his concentration. The two mountain peaks below the cherry mouth were about to stand, and there was only a trace of silk. Tightly sticking to the white and flawless skin, it sets off a different kind of taste. He paddled smoothly all the way to the position that was close to the island in the center of the lake, and just when Xiao Yin was about to breathe a sigh of relief, the calm lake in front of him suddenly burst into the sky. Tide raised his head and stared at the place where the spray burst, and after a moment, his pupils suddenly shrank. The water splashes gradually fell. In an instant, a giant snake with green scales all over its body and a triangular-shaped head suddenly rushed out from the bottom of the lake, then opened its huge mouth and bit Xiao Yin fiercely. There was a wild ferocity in his pupils. 3,000 thunder phantom bodies. When the ferocious giant snake's mouth was about to attack Xiao Yin, a lightning-fast movement technique flashed past, causing the giant snake to rush into the air. Illusory golden demon python? The golden dragon king's exclamation came from inside the ring. Master, what is that? Xiao Yin also felt a strange power from the python's attack just now. Illusory golden monster python. This is a powerful magical beast known for its soul power. Their most powerful power is neither the body nor the strength, but the power of the soul. The illusory golden monster python has a profound knowledge of soul power. It has been able to use its soul power to create a perfect illusion, which makes it sleepy for a long time and does not want to wake up. That's what makes it terrifying. But fortunately, your soul strength is not weak, but it is protected by a strange fire, so it can't cause too much damage to you. The violent factor of the strange fire is naturally the biggest nemesis of these dark attribute snakes. You can look at other companions have fallen into this illusion now. The Golden Dragon King looked at the ferocious giant snake in front of him and said, "I'll hold it back. Hurry up and fetch the crescent moon green fruit." Xiaoyan also gritted his teeth and said to Yuru, although the illusory gold demon python in front of him was comparable to a 4-star Dodi, but with the blessing of his own strange fire, it was not difficult to fight, so he immediately said to Yueru, "Bang, bang, bang." The figure violently swept towards the island. There were a few violent waves bursting behind him, which was the momentum caused by the failure of the giant snake's attack. Xiaoyan didn't pay too much attention to the strong aura behind him. With the help of this impact, he escaped several attacks from giant snakes, and finally, he was only 10 meters away from the island. Glancing back from the corner of his eyes, he found that the giant snake was chasing and killing it all the way with its huge mouth open. With a slight sneer, Xiaoyan flicked his finger to accept the ring, and a wooden board fell into the water surface. A moment before it was about to be corroded by the venom in the lake, Xiaoyan's toes touched it, his body sank slightly, and then violently again shot out a moment later. Finally entered the scope of the island. Both palms pressed lightly on the ground and landed steadily. Stepping on the island with his saws, Xiaoyan glanced back and found that from the time it entered a 10-meter range around the island, the ferocious giant snake was a little scared and did not dare to move forward, swaying on its tail outside the island. The wanderer, spitting out a scarlet snake letter, glared at Xiaoyan fiercely and kept wandering around the island. Looking at the slowly calming lake and the giant snake still guarding the island, Xiaoyan breathed a sigh of relief, turned around, and looked at the small island, which is not very large, which are planted with lush bamboo forests and some flowers and plants, which look vibrant and beautiful. "Have you found it, Yueru?" Xiaoyan finally broke free from the giant snake and hurriedly went to the island to ask. This, looking at the few round fruits on the crystal-clear little tree in front of her, Yueru couldn't help falling into contemplation. According to the information his father gave him, shouldn't Crescent Moon Tsuewa look like this? Could it be that this Crescent Moon has mutated due to the environment? Thank you, too, for leading the way. A gloomy laughter emerged from the void, and Yueru took away all the fruits on the small tree at the moment of her fascination. Looking carefully, under the white curtain on his cheeks, a young face that was pale and bloodless emerged. His eyes were gray, and his body seemed to be wrapped in the aura of death, which made people shudder. "Farewell. There will be an appointment later." After speaking, he disappeared on the island like a ghost. When Xiaoyan first saw the mysterious man, he felt a strong strength, but the ancient ruler of the fire behind him was about to shoot, but was gently suppressed by Yueru's small hand. It wasn't the Crescent Moon Jade that person took. Huh. Xiaoyan was also startled, then looked at Yuru in front of him. "I think the real Crescent Moon green fruit should still be in this lake." Yuru thought thoughtfully. "Master, what should we do now?" Xiaoyan also asked anxiously. "Oh, your blood. Take a drop of your blood and throw it at the illusory golden monster python. Hurry up." The Golden Dragon King's hurried voice came from the ring. Xiaoyan is also not a person with ink marks. As soon as he gritted his teeth with his fingers, a drop of scarlet blood was thrown at the illusory golden monster python. When the mighty illusory golden monster python felt the drop of Xiaoyan's blood just a moment ago, it was as if the blood in the whole body had coagulated. Colorful sky swallowing python. The illusory gold monster python had already surrendered to Xiaoyan because it clearly felt the aura of this human being. The colorful sky swallowing python was the most powerful race of the snake clan, and the illusory gold monster python dare to be presumptuous. Among the beasts, the bloodline has always been oppressive. So when he knew that Xiaoyan possessed the blood of the 7-colored swallowing blood, the eldest brother of the illusory gold monster python, with his eyes wide open, also respected Xiao Yin. Xiao Yin looked at the illusory golden demon python and said, "Take us to the crescent moon, Suegua." When the giant snake heard Xiao Yan's words, it also responded with a bang, 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 as if he was saying to follow me. Then he slammed into the lake, as if there was something at the bottom of the lake. Xiao Yin floated in the icy lake, looking at the dark brown water flowing slowly around his body with surprise. A huge bubble slowly emerged beside him. Then, with a loud bang, it exploded and some water jets splashed onto Xiao Yan's face. But in an instant, it was swallowed up by the layer of milky white flames. Why is there such a hot temperature in the blisters? Is there a world at the bottom of this lake? Xiao Yin looked at the giant snake that crashed into the lake and muttered to himself, "Yueru, wait for me here. I'll follow it down to sea." Xiao Yin didn't hesitate. Under the protection of the milky white flame all over his body, he directly slammed into the lake like a giant snake. "Be careful. Safety is the main priority." Yueru's voice echoed on the lake. "Look at the giant snake that makes ripples in the lake." Xiao Yin let out a sigh of relief before diving into the lake. Hang tightly behind the fire spirit snake. As soon as he entered the lake, an icy feeling swept over him, and then he called out the body of a different fire, and all the water pressure and air pressure in the outside world seemed to be separated. A somewhat cold feeling hovering around the body, but it does not feel cold at all. Through the isolation of the different fire, the palms easily picked up some dark brown water. Then let them slowly flow down from between his fingers. Xiao Yin smacked his lips in amazement. Such close contact with the water flow really made people feel a little creepy and cold in their hearts. If the protective cover of this flame suddenly dissipated now, then go down on your own? Xiao Yin shuddered violently at the thought of being frozen like a statue. His face turned slightly pale. "Big guy, hurry up." Xiao Yin also followed the giant snake and dived to the bottom of the lake. But the pressure of the lake became stronger and the air became thinner as he went down, making Xiao Yin unable to help but frown slightly at the giant snake in front of him. Road. The illusory golden demon python seemed to understand Xiao Yan's meaning and hurriedly spat out a snake letter, and then the speed was skyrocketing, straight to the bottom of the lake. Although the strange fire can temporarily protect me, it will consume a lot of soul power. After all, if you lose the soul energy to maintain them, even if you are not swallowed by the water flow, it will instantly oppress the ashes. Therefore, I can't waste precious time. Before my soul energy is exhausted, I must leave this magma lake. Otherwise, the ice sculpture I thought of before will really become a reality. As the giant snake continued to advance, Xiao Yan's mind quickly calculated. The corners of Xiao Yan's mouth twitched a few times. Then he turned around in a dignified manner, looked at the huge two-headed fire snake not far away, and said with a big laugh, "Big man, hurry up. 1,000 meters, 2,000 meters, 3 kilometers. Xiao Yin gradually felt that breathing was a little difficult. Indeed, a normal person would experience difficulty breathing when he dived to 2,000 meters. Xiao Yin was able to dive to 3,000 meters because of his physical fitness and strength. Damn, why not yet? Xiao Yin cursed as he looked at the giant snake that was still diving in front of him. 3,000 meters is already approaching Xiao Yan's limit as a human being. If it goes down, it is a forbidden area of life because it has surpassed human cognition and there may be many unknown crises. Xiao Yin can't help but frown slightly. 3,100 meters. The diving speed is also oppressed by the pressure of the water current at the bottom of the lake, which is getting slower and slower. Damn! 5 minutes. Go back if you don't have it. Xiao Yin couldn't help roaring in his heart. 3,200 meters. 5 minutes passed quietly. Xiao Yin found that his grudge seemed to be burning violently, as if something was attracting it. This situation, it can only be the same flame power. Old bastard, the last 3 minutes. Xiao Yin also gritted his teeth, and the illusory golden monster python also stopped and stood blankly, and then shed its skin. The giant snake was black at first, but now it has shed its skin and replaced it with golden skin. It swims towards the world of flames, not afraid of the scorching heat. Xiao Yin had not had time to take a breath just now, when a scorching hot breath rushed towards his face. Looking around, when you dived to 3,300 meters, it was a scorching magma world. It was fiery red, but with the continuous support of Xiao Yi's flame, Xiao Yin could barely see some of the surrounding environment. Drilling serpent. One ice, one fire, two heavens. There must be a rare treasure under the lava here. The Golden Dragon King in the ring has been paying attention to Xiao Yan's state. If something goes wrong, he will immediately take action. But when he finds that there is icy lake water above and hot water below in the world of flames, Jinlong couldn't help but be surprised by Jinlong's extensive knowledge. Xiao Yin obviously also knew that the Golden Dragon King cared about him. If he wanted to become a strong man, he was destined to rely on himself, and he could not become a strong man by relying on others. There was no shortcut for a strong man. Don't talk nonsense. Follow the giant snake first. It has lived for so many years and must be very familiar with it. Don't lose it. The Golden Dragon King's tone was full of fiery. Xiao Yin didn't dare to be careless when he heard that. Even though he was perplexed, he had to hurriedly follow the giant snake. But fortunately, the giant snake is obviously very familiar with the terrain here. Before the undercurrent came, they were able to find the most suitable route to sneak, and Xiao Yin, who followed closely behind it, also took the opportunity to smooth these magma undercurrents. Dodged away.